inside the van, because it was on its side, holding a 2-year-old infant.
A Good Samaritan charged for his trouble. How much the county's trying to make him pay after helping out in a car crash. And a fire chief in more hot water today. Why he's now facing felony charges coming up. Plus, as the Doghead fire begins to wind down, the state says is looking ahead for property owners, the concerns the governor has. Happening now. Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Atchison. We've reached a Wednesday together, June 22nd. More people living near the Doghead fire will be able to return home this morning as authorities lift all evacuation restrictions, except for just a few roads in just hours now. But the fire still burns in some areas. Let's turn to team coverage now. Kristen Curry is watching the weather conditions this morning and how that could affect firefighters. But first, we'll turn to News 13's Sarah Yingling, live near T. Harris, with the latest on the evacuations being lifted. Sarah?
Adam, those who haven't been able to return home yet will be able to starting at 8 this morning, but some areas still remain closed off to the public. In Torrance County, La Plata Road and Aceves Road will remain closed to everyone. That's the area with the most damage from the fire. In Bernalillo County, all residents will be allowed in. They'll be checking IDs on La Jara Road so that only residents will get in. Many people returned home yesterday, and now they're busy putting things back together. Others will be returning home to a lot of damage.
Our neighbors, friends, and family that live down the road in Chile and a little further down, we haven't even talked to them, but we know it's pretty darn bad.
Deputies say anyone returning home to the area today will still need to have their IDs and proof of address in hand. Back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you. While authorities are letting people come back home, they're still considering the Doghead fire active right now. And as of this morning, here's the latest. Almost 18,000 acres have burned. It is 61% contained. Officials say they've got nearly 1,000 people fighting the flames, but the exact number's gone down from yesterday. Authorities say the fire is human-caused, but the exact details are under investigation still this morning. Authorities say right now they're only seeing occasional flare-ups in the interior of the fire. Overnight, firefighters continue to monitor that and also mop up hot spots. They're paying especially close attention to structures on the eastern side of the fire, the eastern flank. Fire officials say as people do head home today, they can still expect to see some flames or embers burning later tonight. They say that's vegetation that is continuing to burn. Let's turn now to the latest on what's happening with weather-wise this morning. Kristen Curry is watching today's conditions. How's it looking out there?
Not bad. You'll notice when it comes to the current temp, 61 degrees. Here's the key to fighting this fire. Notice right now, we're not even seeing any wind picking up in the fire zone. That is excellent news for crews battling the blaze, and hopefully they can make a little bit more progress through the day today. Humidity down to about 62%. We'll take it. But here in the Albuquerque area, we're losing more and more of that smoke, which is good news for us. But notice the temperature. 73 degrees to start the day. Very comfortable with humidity down to 33%. Those southerly winds about 3 miles per hour. Now, looking towards this afternoon, winds will stay light about 5 to 15, but they'll be a little bit more variable as we get past the noon hour. Hey, temperatures across the state, 60s and 70s up to the north. Hourly forecast puts us back into the 90s today, so it is going to be another hot one above normal for this time in June, and we'll see more and more of those triple digits on the map later today than what we had yesterday. Notice the cloud cover though. We're talking storm chances. Thank goodness we have something to talk about. More rain and thunderstorms on the way today, tomorrow, and even into Friday. I'll break down the details of when and where coming up here in just about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, we'll see then. Developing this morning, Governor Susana Martinez is now looking ahead to helping homeowners recover from any fire damage they might find when they get back home. She says plans include cleaning up damaged land and watersheds as well as utilities infrastructure. Right now, she says there are already fallen trees and debris clogging canals. Without cleanup, residents are facing flood danger when the summer rains hit soon.
If they start to run the water runs, it's going to get clogged up and then it's going to start backing up.
The governor says mitigating floods are a top priority for crews right now. Torrance County Sheriff Heath White says deputies and state police are still out patrolling areas where people have yet to return. As deputies do let people who live in south of La Parra Road off Highway 337 back in yesterday. As soon as they did that, they also went in themselves to check on residents and their animals. It's something that people in that area say they're very grateful for.
And thank you very much for everything. Taking care of our places at night when we weren't here, and our neighbors too, not only us, the whole community.
While deputies say they will keep an eye out, so far they say they've not gotten any reports of vandalism or burglary as people return home. Bernalillo County is asking those who are already back in their homes to reclaim their animals today. They say with fewer animals in their care, they're able to reassign employees who could be used elsewhere. The shelter in Tijeras has set up new hours to make it easier for residents. They'll open up here in just under an hour at 7 o'clock and stay open until 7 p.m. And we want to let you know you can find everything you need to know about the Doghead fire on the KRQE News app right now, including the latest as the fight against the fire and the effort for containment progresses. 6:05 now in overnight news. We're following up right now on what led to southbound tramway being shut down and police activity in that area. Albuquerque police were out near Tramway and Indian School. No word yet on what may have happened there, but we checked in with APD. We're awaiting word this morning. Our crews on scene did see officers scanning the street with flashlights and talking with people in a nearby complex around 11 o'clock. Our cameras also caught a crime scene van nearby. Stay with KRQE News 13. We'll continue to follow the story. No word this morning if southbound tramway is back open yet, but again, as soon as we hear, we'll pass it along to you. This morning, police are searching for a shooter who killed a man in northeast Albuquerque. The body of 49-year-old Larry Sanchez was found early yesterday morning with a gunshot wound near Moon Academy. It's unclear if he was killed where his body was found. Police do not know who the shooter is yet. If you have any information on this homicide, you're asked to call 242-COPS. Time is 6:06. Developing this morning, Valencia County's fire chief is facing charges this morning, accused of impersonating a police officer after pulling somebody over. Fire Chief Stephen Gonzalez called dispatch earlier this month saying he had just stopped a driver on I-25.
Can you have a Los Angeles PD officer meet me on I-25 just south of the 203? Have a vehicle, silver Camry, pulled over excessive speed and reckless driving.
Gonzalez does not have the authority to pull people over. News 13 did confirm last night that Gonzalez is charged with impersonating an officer, a misdemeanor, and false imprisonment, which is a felony. He has been summoned to appear in court. A month ago, Gonzalez was suspended after he and his top staff were caught in uniform with exotic dancers while at a conference in Indianapolis. Chief Gonzalez is on paid leave today. Also happening today, Michigan's Attorney General plans to announce civil charges related to the city of Flint's lead-tainted water crisis. The details are expected to be outlined later today. 2 months ago, the state filed criminal charges against 2 state environmental regulators and a City of Flint water employee. This after the city switched its drinking water from a Detroit system to the Flint River that was not properly treated, resulting in corrosion of lead pipes and elevated levels in some children. In the meantime, the city is preparing to welcome a new water supplier to the city. Also happening today, Donald Trump is set to fire back at Hillary Clinton following her attack of his business record. Speaking from Ohio on Tuesday, the presumptive Democratic nominee warned that Trump's economic plans would trigger another financial crisis. The latest Quinnipiac poll shows Clinton leading Trump in the battleground state of Florida, but virtually tied with him in Pennsylvania and Ohio. A California man who stopped to help a family in an automobile crash got a bill instead of accolades, and this morning he's trying to fight it before he heads to collections. The man says a few weeks ago he came upon a pretty scary aftermath of a crash. Inside the van, he saw a man and his 3 kids. So he broke the window to get the family out before first responders arrived there. Everybody was okay, but he, the Good Samaritan, got a $143 first responder fee bill in the mail. The county says it's because he was cut when he broke the glass and an EMT had to look at it. The deputy in charge of the program says he's going to try to work on getting that bill reversed. Thousands of fans are expected to line the streets of Cleveland, Ohio today to honor NBA champs, the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James and the Cavs came back from a 3-1 deficit on Sunday to beat the Golden State Warriors 93-89 in Game 7. It's the city's first major pro sports title since 1964, so lots to celebrate on the streets today.
You're sad that your child has to deal with this for the rest of her life.
A teen allegedly groped on a flight by a stranger where her mother says the airline went wrong, coming up. Also changing APD, how you can help shape what the department's new policies could look like without even leaving your home, just ahead. And this.
We're grateful. So we're glad it's over for us.
More people being let back in this morning as the Doghead fire continues to burn, but there are some areas still off limits today. What you need to know, coming up now. Good morning, I'm Adam Atchison. Wednesday, June 22nd. Another big milestone for residents living near the Doghead Fire is just about an hour and a half away. Authorities are preparing to lift all evacuation restrictions this morning, allowing everybody back into their homes except those who live on just a few roads. We have team coverage this morning. Kristen Curry in the Weather Center this morning with how conditions are looking as firefighters return to the fire lines. Let's turn first to News 13's Sarah Yingling. She's live near Tijeras with more on the evacuations being lifted. Sarah?
Adam, more Bernalillo and Torrance County residents will be able to breathe a sigh of relief today, as many of them will be able to start returning home around 8 this morning. Unfortunately, certain areas will remain closed off to the public. In Torrance County, La Pata Road and Acivas Road will remain closed to everyone. That's the area with the most fire damage. In Bernalillo County, all residents will be able to be allowed in. They'll be checking IDs on La Jara Road so that only residents will get in. Many people say this has been both emotionally and physically exhausting, but are ready to get home.
I'm very anxious. My husband and I, neither one of us been sleeping. Neither one of us have been eating.
Now, many people did return home yesterday. Now they're spending a day putting things back together. Others will be returning home today to a lot of damage. Deputies say anyone returning home today will have to have their IDs and proof of address handy. Back to you.
Good to know. Thank you, Sarah. While authorities are letting people return home, they're still considering the Doghead Fire active right now. Here are the very latest statistics on the fire. As of now, almost 18,000 acres have burned. It is 61% contained. Officials say they've got nearly 1,000 people fighting the fire, but the exact number has gone down a bit from yesterday. 24 homes have been destroyed along with 21 other minor structures. Authorities say the fire is human caused, but the exact details are under investigation this morning. As fire officials continue to get a handle on the fire, they're warning residents who return they may still see some flames. They may still see some embers burning later tonight. Right now, authorities say they're only seeing occasional flare-ups in the interior of the fire, but some vegetation is still burning. Overnight, firefighters continue to monitor that and also mop up hot spots. And they're paying especially close attention to areas around structures on the eastern side of the fire. We've got a lot of work to do yet. Still about 40% containment left. Are they going to be facing weather conditions that are troubling this morning?
Other than the heat, everything else seems to be working with crews. So let's break this down this morning. Winds, nothing being reported in and around the fire zone right now. Calm conditions, 62% humidity, and temperatures did relax overnight, only about 59 degrees as crews get out there this morning. So not bad of a start. Those winds will stay light today, about 5 to 15, and they'll be pretty variable, but at least they're on the lower end of the scale. And you'll notice Albuquerque, we have less and less of that haze, 73 degrees to start. Winds even light here in the metro out of the south, only about 3 miles per hour. Humidity, though, we are on the drier side. As far as temperatures across the state, 50s as you walk out the door to the north, 70s out over southern New Mexico. Hobbs coming in at 68, 65 in Clayton. We'll take you up to Cortez where we see 60 degrees. Now, hourly forecast. Here's what we need to focus in on because our temperatures will already be pushing low 90s by noontime. Later today, topping out near 99 degrees. We do have a little bit more cloud cover as we finish this afternoon and better storm chances on the way as well. So I'm going to break down the numbers in your neighborhood as well as who is likely to see the storms not only today, but more storm coverage on the way for tomorrow. So quite a bit to talk about. Details here in just about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, we'll see you then. The state says it has already put plans together for how to help homeowners recover from any damage they may see today. During yesterday's final community meeting, Governor Martinez said that plans include cleaning up damaged land and watersheds, as well as utilities infrastructure. Right now, fallen trees and debris are clogging canals, and without cleanup, residents are facing major flooding danger when the summer rains hit a little later on. Martinez says there are low-interest loans for the uninsured and underinsured from the Small Business Administration to help cover damages. As more people prepare to head back to their homes today, patrols continue in evacuated areas. As deputies and state police let residents who live south of La Parra Road off Highway 337 back in yesterday, they also went in themselves to check on residents and their animals. It's something that people in that area say they're grateful for.
And thank you very much for everything. Taking care of our places at night when we weren't here, and our neighbors too, not only us, the whole community.
While deputies say they will keep an eye out, so far they say they've not gotten any word of vandalism or burglaries as people return home. The Tahara shelter for displaced animals plans to open here just about a half an hour for people to pick up their animals. The shelter says it'll open at 7 a.m. It'll stay open until 7 tonight to make sure that people do have a chance to retrieve their animals. Bernalillo County is also asking people who are already back home to reclaim them. They say with fewer animals in their care, they're able to reassign employees who could be used elsewhere. Everything that evacuees need to know about returning is up on our website right now, KRQE.com. We're also still following the firefight 24/7 on the KRQE News app. We'll send out breaking news alerts as needed. As you wake up today, fire crews continue to battle other wildfires raging in several western states. At least 2 of them are burning toward one another in California's San Gabriel Mountains. Teams are handling the San Gabriel complex fire as one fire to prevent them from merging. Some people are evacuated, others are still waiting. Firefighters are watching the wind direction carefully today, which could put more homes in danger in the coming hours. There is a new way to give your input on policy changes for APD this morning. People can now read about the new policies online and submit a form with their feedback. APD says the comments will then go to policy analysts to consider.
We want those comments to be succinct, specific, and really look at the policies themselves.
And APD says if you do submit a comment, you will hear back from them on why or why not your suggestions may or may not have been used by the department. Last year, the Department of Justice ordered several policy reforms after it found APD had a pattern of using excessive force. Time is 6:38. A proposal to up passenger fees at the Sunport is waiting to be approved by the FAA this morning. On Monday, city councilors passed an increased passenger facility charge by an 8-to-1 vote. The fee would increase from the current $3 fee to $4.50. It's not a revenue generator for the city. Instead, it would upgrade safety and security at the Sunport. If approved by the FAA, the higher fee will begin in September or October. Happening this morning, the mother of a teen allegedly groped on an American Airlines flight is speaking out about her 13-year-old daughter's horrific experience. She says she's angry that the airline didn't do more to prevent it from happening. The girl was flying alone on a mostly empty American Airlines flight last Wednesday from Dallas to Portland. Police say 26-year-old Chad Camp sat right next to the teen even when flight attendants asked him if he wanted a row to himself. The girl's mother says that's where the airline went wrong.
I think they should have insisted that he move, and if he didn't want to, move her. Say, oh, that's fine. If you want to sit there, then, we're going to move her.
The woman says her daughter had to deal with groping from Camp for 30 minutes before a flight attendant saw him. Camp was arrested at Portland International Airport, accused of abusive sexual contact. This morning, American Airlines is cooperating, it says, with investigators.